in particular in difficult moments, in moments of crisis, in moments when I feel overwhelmed, I wanted to know, what can I rely on? I also wanted to know, where am I going? Like, what is the direction? I had this feeling like I'd been on a conveyor belt, and I have to do this set of exams, and then you have to go to this school and do that set of exams, and then you have to get to a university. And I felt like I was spat out, age 22. And the conveyor belt still had a lot of energy telling me, okay, now you need to do this, you need to have this kind of career, you need to go there, learn this. And I felt I hadn't yet stopped to really ask myself, where am I going and where do I want to go? How much of this direction until now is me? And how much is everything around me pushing me? We have a story in the Buddhist tradition about someone on a horse riding very fast past a crossroads. And there's a man standing there and he says, "Where are you going so fast?" And the rider says, "I don't know, ask the horse." So, are we on a horse? Do we know where our horse is going? What are the elements that have given energy to the horse? What is pushing us? Have we mastered the horse yet? Since I've come to Plum Village and been living here, I've learned that it takes a while to learn how to ride. Takes some training, but we can do it. We can master the horse. And another question I had was, how can I help? I had a sense that I have some energy and I see there are problems in the world and I want to know, what can I do to help? So slowly here, I think there's a poet who once said, we live our way to the answers. Rilke, I think. So I'm living my way to answer these questions. And I hope that we can all actively live our way to answer these questions. Some of you may know that we have a 5-year monastic training program in Plum Village. And it wasn't an option when I ordained. So, as we learned yesterday, I didn't have to suffer from having too much choice. Just made a lifetime commitment. But when it came to 5 years, and Tai was convinced that 5 years is more than enough to be able to learn a lot of things and then go out into the world and continue to be a teacher in lay society. So when I got to 5 years, I had to do a reality check. And I asked myself, what have I learned? And this is what I discovered. I have learned how to eat. It's harder than you think. How to listen to my body, how to choose the right foods, how to feel connected when I eat, how to nourish joy for myself and others with food, how to respect life as I eat, how to nourish my compassion as I eat. So maybe I haven't completely mastered it, but I've made good progress. How to sleep. I think only by arriving and living in the monastery did I discover how unstable my life was, and I imagine it's the case for many of us. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting good quality sleep? Do you know how to prepare yourselves to have a good night's sleep? How to wake up without a headache? How to smile to yourself as you wake up in the morning? I've made good progress on this one, but I'm not a master yet, as my sisters in the last week can tell you. I've also somehow learned something about taking care of my body and mind, handling my body and mind, listening to my body and mind. So it's something about energy. Life is energy. That horse that is pushing us is a kind of energy. And have we learned how to listen to our unique combination of energies so that we can master them like riding a horse, so that we can live beautifully, peacefully, happily, as much as possible? And this is what Tai has said. What is more important than to know ourselves, how to generate happiness in our daily life, and how to handle difficulties, suffering? And Tai has reassured us this is possible. We can learn how to generate moments of happiness in our day, and we can also learn how to handle our suffering, our difficulties, how to not feel overwhelmed, and how we can learn what to do in difficult moments. And when I first came here, I didn't know any of these things as a almost 22-year-old. I didn't know how to generate happiness, and I didn't know how to handle my suffering. And sometimes our suffering may have come to us from previous generations. It's not exactly ours. Perhaps the seed of sadness or despair. This is what I discovered. My seed of sadness and despair had been transmitted to me. I'd done a fair bit of helping it grow too, but I had received a strong seed already from my parents and from my grandparents, and probably their parents, because even our parents are not just themselves, they are also their parents. And each of us has a treasure trove of elements that we've received from our ancestors, and we need to know what they are, and we need to know how to handle them. At least I needed to know what they were, and I needed to know how to handle them so that I could feel free in my life and so that I could answer some of these questions. We learn here that we are made of many different elements. And I would like to draw something on the board to illustrate this. So we can see ourselves as 5 different rivers. We have our body, our physical body, and Tai often likes to draw this with the segments of a clementine, tangerine. Okay. So we have our body that has been transmitted to us from many generations, that we nourish with everything we eat. I wish it was a 360-degree board, but it's not. Body. Okay. And the next segment is our feelings. They may come from the body or from our emotions. our perceptions. So our perceptions is how we are perceiving things, how we are perceiving the world, ourselves, other people, situations. Generally, most of them are wrong. Okay. And then we have our mental formations. So based on our perceptions and feelings, we give rise to a state of mind, a mental formation. It could be something like frustration, or anger, or depression, sadness, or joy, some positive ones, hope. Okay. And then we have consciousness. Which is the ground of our being. So to share a little bit more about consciousness, our teacher likes to draw a circle, but I'm not very good at drawing circles, so I've got some help. Okay. Okay. I think that must be my English ancestors rather than my Vietnamese ancestors. Okay. So, our body and our mind. Thai often speaks about two levels of the mind. So we have the upper part of our mind and the lower part. And we call the upper part mind consciousness. And the lower part, store. Okay. So here, we are talking a lot about store consciousness. And this is where we have all the seeds, these elements that have been transmitted to us, that we carry, and that are potentials in life. So, we have seeds like joy and hope, mindfulness, peace, and some other ones like anger, fear, anxiety. Any others we can think of? Jealousy, very good. Sadness. Compassion, wonderful. Desire, craving. Sometimes we crave, we usually crave sensual pleasures, but we may also crave money, status, fame, power, craving. It's a little bit bigger than the other ones, you see. Okay. Any more? Doubt. Oh, pride. Wonderful. How big is that? Probably a bit, yeah. Okay, and we have doubt. So we have a lot of seeds. And somehow our store consciousness is both individual and collective. We also share it. So when the seed of fear in society is very strong, our own seed of fear will take more place, will be more active. And if our parents have transmitted to us a strong seed down here, then it will be more strong perhaps than in other people. And is receiving information from our sense doors, from our eyes, our ears, our nose, and our tongue, and from our body. Okay. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. So information is coming in all the time. So when we watch a news bulletin or we listen to the radio, that will come in and it may water the seed of fear in us or the seed of anger in us. And that seed will then come up and manifest in the upper level of our consciousness. So when we want to learn how to handle our mind, we need to know what to do when this happens. First of all, we need to know anger has come up, fear has come up, sadness has come up. So we have to recognize, we have to identify that it's happened. And that's why we need the energy of mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us to know what is going on. So the energy of mindfulness is another seed. And if we say that it's the seed of anger that has come up, we can say that mindfulness comes up and embraces the anger. So you have one energy, which is the anger, and we have the other energy, which is our compassion. I said compassion because the antidote to anger is compassion. So we have mindfulness, embracing the anger. And if we can generate an energy of compassion, that will help cool the anger. So what I have been learning here is to have a strategy for when different mental formations come up, and to know how to invite certain seeds to come up in order to embrace the one that has manifested. So many different seeds have different kind of antidotes.